Well, let's talk about Rhino. We just addressed the team and told them the news that of Rhino's passing, and we're saddened of the loss of a great man. We were lucky as a group this year to have Rhino in spring training, and it was an honor to be around a man battling for his life, but wanting to come to the baseball park and spend his day with us. And I know it meant a lot to everybody in there, and we're grateful that he was willing to spend that time with us when things weren't going great for him. So it's a sad day for the Chicago Cubs, and he was a great Cub, and I'm grateful that we got a chance to get to know him this spring.
Craig, you spoke about kind of just that presence that he had when he walked in a room. Just what was that like when you were?
Yeah, it's what's so cool is that I think what we do for a living is about like competing and beating people, but his presence was almost due to kindness, and that's such a rare, and he was probably living on a higher level than the rest of us. And I think that's what he was known for. That's what made him special, and that's why people like that make you better. They make you better people.
Last year when he had the statue ceremony, you guys all came out and watched it.
Yeah, I know it was a special moment for the guys to be able to do that, and I think you get a sense of his place as a Cub and his place in baseball. That was an inspiring moment just to be there and for the people gathered there to honor Rhino. I won't forget that for sure.
And you were big in wanting the guys to go out and experience to see what he meant to Chicago. Just what did you take away from that experience to see firsthand just the meaning?
Well, I think those are the moments that kind of connect you, and as like generationally as baseball players, and then they connect you to a city, and you get an understanding of the impact that you can have on people if you live your life and in a positive manner. And I think that's a day where you learn something about it, and I know it taught our guys that.
Those guys are obviously too young to have seen him play, but you
Yeah.
got to watch him play. What do you remember about watching him as a kid?
Well, he was kind of just really good at everything. And he was fast. He was a great defender. Loved triples. He's talked about getting triples in Wrigley, and we still this day. There's once a week we'll talk about how did he hit 14 triples in Wrigley. Literally, like once a week, Ryan Flaherty and I will talk about that. But he loved the game, and he played it in a way that it was fun for me to watch. Him and Sean Dunston, watching those two play them as an infielder growing up, watching those two play middle infield was always a thrill.
Craig, back in spring training, Rhino looked pretty good. Do you think just the environment and being around him? I know. Talking to Rick Sutcliffe about that a lot. I know he was doing everything he could to be there, and I think he did feel better when he was there, but I don't think it was easy for him to be there. But I think it's one of those, it's an environment that made him feel better, and it makes you feel good that you can provide that. It really does. But yeah, he's been battling difficult cancer for a long time, and I don't think we expected to necessarily see him in December, January, and when we got the news that he was going to come and be around, it was great news. But it's a hard fight and it's a tough fight, and it's a sad day. If you guys wanted to talk about the game, I understand. Your call. That's fine.
Anybody tough that you guys didn't know during the game?
There was some guys that found out kind of as the game was going on. Yeah.
What did you find out?
Like right before the game started.
Matthew, it feels like the game doesn't feel important when you learn about the news of Ryne Sandberg. Just in your short time in Chicago, what did you learn about him and what he means to everyone here?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I got to meet Rhino for the first time this spring, and he treated me like I had worn a Cubs uniform my whole life. And I think that just spoke to who he was, for this organization as an ambassador of the game of baseball. It's a loss. We're gonna miss him. I mean, it's just, there's not really words for it. Yeah.
Even kind of your family connections to Chicago.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of kind of like what Rhino meant to the city and just WGN and Dave baseball, and just kind of how iconic he was?
Yeah, without a doubt, I think just hearing the words that he said in his induction, getting repeated over and over again, before this year's induction, spoke to his impact not only, for the organization, the city of Chicago, but the game of baseball, and it's pretty cool, the impact he made, the lives he touched by playing a game. It transcends that, and he's a role model for all of us, and he was doing that this spring too when he was with us, and he did it while he wore the uniform and he playing, and he did it as a coach, and he set an example that we should all strive for.
How would you just describe the moment when the news was shared and here with everyone?
Hard, it's he was part of this team, right? Someone that we all look up to, someone that we want to be have an impact, on others' lives in the game like he had, and couple that with that we got to be with him this year. A lot of these other guys have been with him a lot longer than that. It's hard news.
Nico, as somebody who plays second base for the Chicago Cubs, what does Ryne Sandberg mean to you?
First of all, just thinking of him and everything that he meant to the Cubs organization and obviously his family. I think he's kind of the blueprint for what it means to be an amazing Cub. I think as far as the way he carried himself, obviously through his career and everything he achieved, but just how selfless he was in his time with us too. It was never about him ever. It was just truly love the game of baseball, and I think that was particularly clear this spring, and all the effort that he made to be there throughout, even more than I'm sure what we can even imagine, the treatment and everything else. And there was nothing he wanted more than to be on a baseball field and to share that time and be present with that. So we're all incredibly lucky that he was a part of our season this year, and he means a lot.
On that, you talked about the gloves that he brought to spring because he knew that you were interested. What did those interactions mean for you?
Yeah, it just that he was thoughtful, and he has achieved so much in this game, but was never above like the small things that makes it such a special sport and the connections that the game brings. And he just, more than anything, just wanted to talk about baseball and things that we were doing that were different than what they did then, and things that he saw, and never came from it with an angle of him having everything figured out. He just wanted to be on the field and talk about the sport that he loved and that loved him, honestly. Yeah.
What was it like last year being at his statue ceremony and seeing all the fans and your team being there for that moment for him?
Yeah, obviously really glad that that was done so well and at a time when he could celebrate it. It was a beautiful ceremony. It's a great statue. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be more ways that we honor him as we continue to move forward. But yeah, it was a really beautiful ceremony.
We've talked about how he kind of did a little bit of everything well. Just when you look at kind of the numbers he put up and the type of player he was, just kind of how incredible was it to kind of see the numbers he did?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of redefined the position a little bit as far as what's possible. Having an impact bat at second base while also winning, was it 9 Gold Gloves, 10 Gold Gloves, and he hit 19 triples in one season, which is kind of unfathomable. Just an all-around dynamic player and person as well, and his love for the game was just so obvious. And I think if there's any one thing for us as a group to take away from him this year is just like how he never took just being at the field around people, a part of a group, for granted for his whole life. It seemed like.
Well, somebody who spent their entire career with the Cubs, how would you describe what Ryno has meant to you?
Yeah, obviously what he meant to the fan base, seeing him around the ballpark, I think just his desire to be there, whether it was spring training or during the season, and in times that I struggled, sending a note. And remember one April I was really grinding, and he told me his career numbers in April and that he always came out of it, and just little things like that. And coming up as a second baseman, when I was 20 years old in spring training, or 21 years old in spring training, him being able to give some advice and talk to me and not being above that. He just loved being around. He loved being there, and you knew how much he loved being a Cub. And we're really lucky in this organization to have legends that want to come back and want to be around. And he was a special man, and we'll miss him very much.
What is it like kind of watching his composure and giving even while he was going through?
Yeah, I think just his openness with everyone. And one of my most special memories as a Cub is getting to watch his statue unveiling. How many people showed up for it, former players and people that wanted to be around and wanted to see it. There's only, 5 statues up there, and for him to be one of those guys and get to see that and get to see what it meant to him, what it meant to his family, was really, really special. And through the whole fight, the courage, the strength, and the openness with everyone was really remarkable.
To see the reception he would always get from Cubs fans anywhere he would go, just obviously being in the organization as long as you have, just how would you describe what it's like seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole generation of Cubs fans that just absolutely adored Ryno, and you could feel it. You could feel it when he was around, whether it was people yelling at him in spring training or just when he would come on the field and those last few first pitches that he threw. It's really cool every year to see those guys in their Hall of Fame jackets go out on the field when a new inductee is out there, and all those guys together. So Ryno's one of the most special, and I can't say enough about just what he meant to all of us, the fan base and the players.
What was it like to see, just you mentioned his teammates in the way they would come around and just see that bond?
Yeah.
Last through the years of
Yeah, all those guys, whether it was at CubsCon or spring training, they were family. The bond that they made, the reception that they give to each other, the hugs and the stories. Waiting at CubsCon behind the stage, there's always some good stories going back and forth between those guys, and they really were tight, and you can tell how much they meant to each other. And that group that played together for as long as they did, what a special time in Cubs history that was. He was down in the cage before one of the games. He was at the field and pulled me aside and talked to me about it, and it's just cool. Just cool to have somebody who's been played forever and been through moments to take the time and to be paying that much attention and to be watching that closely, and to know how much weight his words carry. Take time to do that was really cool, and I felt like we formed a pretty special bond over the years, and just so I know I'll miss him a ton.